It started with a single bite. A strange sickness crept through the veins of a boy in the school laboratory, turning his body cold and his mind into hunger. Within moments, he was no longer human. His scream became the first echo of the apocalypse. The infection spread faster than anyone could comprehend. Classrooms that once held laughter were drowned in blood. Teachers fell, students turned, and the walls of the school shook with terror. None of them knew that this was only the beginning. The school went into emergency lockdown. Metal shutters sealed the doors, trapping hundreds inside. Instead of safety, the building became a cage of death. Every hallway was now a hunting ground. Children pounded on the locked exits, crying for their parents, but only silence answered. The military had sealed them off, not to protect them, but to contain the plague. The corridors became rivers of fear. Students sprinted past lockers, tripping over backpacks left behind in panic. Blood painted the tiles, and the groans of the infected echoed like a nightmare. In one classroom, a group barricaded themselves with desks, but the pounding on the door never stopped. With each thud, hope drained, replaced by the certainty that the walls would not hold forever. The cruelest part of the infection was not the monsters. It was watching friends turn into them. One bite was enough. A girl hugged her wounded friend, promising he'd be fine, until his jaw unhinged and sank into her neck. Survival meant abandoning those you loved. Tears and loyalty meant nothing anymore. In this new world, trust was a death sentence. By nightfall, a few survivors clawed their way to the roof. From there, they saw the scale of their prison. The city outside glowed with fire, but no help came. Helicopters circled, watching but never landing. The rooftop became their cage in the sky. They built fires to signal SOS, but the army only responded with silence. It wasn't rescue, it was surveillance. As the sun set, fear deepened. The infected did not rest. Their growls echoed from below, and shadows shifted across the stairwells. Every creak of the building sounded like death climbing closer. The survivors huddled together under blankets, whispering prayers. But prayers had no power here. Only silence, hunger, and the knowledge that morning might never come. At midnight, the fire doors finally gave way. The infected poured through in an unstoppable wave, clawing up the stairwells with unnatural speed. Screams split the night, followed by the wet sound of tearing flesh. The rooftop turned into a battlefield. Survivors fought with pipes, bricks, and even bare fists. Blood sprayed across the walls, but no matter how many fell, more came. Desperation drove them to one final plan, the old sewer tunnel beneath the gym. They broke through the floorboards and descended into the darkness, hoping the dead would not follow. The tunnels smelled of rot and echoed with dripping water, but as they moved deeper, whispers carried through the dark. Low, hungry, and human. The dead were already there, waiting. Above ground, the military prepared their final solution. Tanks rolled into position, and jets circled overhead. The order was simple: erase everything inside the quarantine zone. Flames rained down on the school, consuming it in a storm of fire. The soldiers did not see faces. They saw only numbers on a map. For them, this was not murder, it was cleansing. When dawn arrived, the school was nothing but ash and smoke. The soldiers scanned the ruins, reporting no survivors. The city moved on, believing the nightmare had ended. But in the rubble, hands twitched. Eyes opened. The groans began again. Death had not ended the story, it had only spread it. And in the end, the title was true: all of us are dead.